Hello and welcome to a quick video showing the basic overview of the E2 agent. So the E2 agent is the embedded agent for CX1 instead of the Microsoft Dynamics CRM. What we're going to do today is we're going to just do a quick walkthrough of the overall call controls, the agent status, take an inbound call as well, walk through the different icon settings that we dive into in later videos. So first, now that we're logged into an available state. From here, the agent can go into any of their setup for their user. They can put themselves in a break state, lunch, out of office. You can log out from here as well. We'll start in an available state. We are using a cell phone as the agent leg for this example. We'll go ahead and select this. We'll connect the agent leg of the call. Once we connect it, now we're ready to take an inbound call to receive all the different phone controls that we'll have on the active calls. So we'll place a call in the queue. Once the call comes in, it's going to do a screen pop. In this case, it's going to pop to a search screen. We'll select the contact that we're talking to in this time. A number of things happen right when a call connects with E2. You can have it set up to have a phone call activity that was created for this call. This phone call activity is going to include all of the details that you have coming from the CX1 contact center and you have mapped to the CX into dynamic CRM. You can see we've got it set for who the call came from, the agent that has taken the call, the direction of it, and then the subject that we have set up to automatically populate the Annie as part of the subject. From the details page, this is where we can choose any type of mapping from CX1 into Dynamics. This is easy to set up, point and click, so we can take any information from the contact center, put it directly into the dynamic system. We've got the Annie, the number that was called from, the phone number that was called, the DNIS, the skill that this call came in on, and the unique identifier for CX1 is displaying here as well. You'll see at the end of the call, the other fields will automatically populate based on the outcome of the call. So it will actually write back to this phone call activity at the end of the call. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to move over and we're going to talk through the call controls. So we're on an active call, and you can see down the right side of E2, I've got all of the different call controls to handle a call while it's active. From here, the first one is I can schedule a commitment or called a promise keeper. This is the ability to set a time that I need to call this customer back. It'll automatically present it to me at that specific time. Once I select this, I can put in the contact information, the number that they want to be called back at, if they want me to call them back or anybody in the skill that they called in from. So anybody from customer service or sales, any of the skills that you've got in the organization. And then you set a specific date and time, and you can type any notes. Next, you've got the ability to place the call on hold, resume the call. You've got the ability to mute your end of the call as well. Masking, if you've got any of these options enabled, you can go in here and click the mask, and this is going to put white noise into the call recording. This is used if you're going to be taking credit card information or sensitive information on the call. Then you can unmask it so the call recording can resume. Any of these buttons, if they're not used by agents inside your contact center, can be disabled so they don't show up. You have the ability to manually record the call as well. Again, if that's something that your organization allows, once it's recording, your agent's not able to stop the recording. It'll just record the duration of that call. We dive into transfers and conferencing, as well as the dial pad in its own video as we go through those use cases. The next item we'll go to is previewing the dispositions. So dispositions will show up on the call if you've got them enabled on your skill. you're able to select this and it'll pop up. The agent's able to preview them before the call ends so that they can manage or enter in dispositions if they know the outcome of the call early. It's most of the time turned off, but it does have its use cases to display. The next item we're going to go to is the activity panel. So the activity panel is a very useful tool for companies that have a lot of information in their CRM. In this case, we're talking to George, and the call came in for George. If during the conversation we found out that it's not actually George that we're talking to, so we'll go ahead and select a different contact. In this case, Bruce. Now that Bruce is on the line, we can remove this one so we don't get a duplicate here. Refresh the timeline, so there's no active ones. I can open up this activity panel, and what this does is it takes all that data that you saw on the George contact, it's all the information that was relevant to who called in, what number they called, the skills, any of the disposition notes, and you can update it so that it actually attaches to the current record that you're on by selecting these two options, selecting the from and the regarding field. Go ahead and add some notes. And once you click save, as I mentioned, it's going to associate all that data for this call from the record that was originally matched, and it's going to tie it to another record. This can be done if you have a contact call in, you end up creating a case for them, and you want to attach the call to the case for reference. You could go to the case or incident. Now, all the contact center details that were associated to George are now associated to Bruce. And when I end this call, the dispositions and everything will write to this activity and be associated to the correct contact. The other item I'm going to show is the navigation history. So I've got it displaying here. You can minimize it if you don't want it displayed, but in the event that we're displaying it, this navigation history allows agents to navigate through CRM a lot more quickly without needing to manage multiple tabs, without needing to search or navigate directly through CRM through its multiple pages and searches, and using the back and forth arrows. This will keep a running history of the last 10 pages that the agent has been on. So I can easily navigate back to Bruce if I'm working on Bruce's contact page. If I want to go to the activity itself, I can go here, add new notes. And then if I want to jump back to the original contact that it matched with George, I can click there as well. And this allows me to quickly navigate throughout Dynamics. They don't have to be ones that were relevant to the call. Any place that I go inside of Dynamics, it's going to create a new tile for me, or at least the last 10, allowing me to quickly navigate between the different items that I'm working on or places that I'm referencing while on the call, and keeping my work fluid and keeping everything directly in front of the agent. So we'll go ahead and end this call now with the dispositions. We'll see the dispositions pop up. In this case, we're able to add notes. So if we want to go ahead and say there was a demo scheduled, and I can go ahead and put myself back into an available status. Now I'm ready to go to take the next call and go on with my day. We dive into a lot more details of different items on other calls. The last item we're going to spend some time on today is going back to this activity and showing the call recording link that gets put into the Dynamics. Again, it's an option that's set up. You can see here this call that we just ended. If I select here, it's going to do a request. It's going to request that call recording from the CX1 platform and then present it to the admin inside of CRM. I can listen to the call. I can fast forward and rewind and manage the call recording and listen to it here. Of course, I can take this contact ID and look up the contact record directly inside of CX1 and to look at more details related to the call. But this call recording is available directly after the call ends, and it does not add a bunch of storage inside of your dynamic CRM because it is just associating a link request versus storing a WAV file into your environment. That's going to wrap up everything we're going to be covering on this call today. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Please take a moment, take a look at the different videos that we have that dive into different aspects and channels inside of the E2 environment. Thank you.